Good morning. You're listening to FloorDaily.net, and I'm Kemp Harr. This morning I have two guests. I have Tom Sullivan, the chairman of F9 Investments, and Jason Delves, the president and CEO. How you guys doing?
Good morning.
Great, Kemp.
Yeah, this is big Lumber Liquidators news. We announced this weekend that after back and forth and after LL Flooring said they were going to shut down over 400 flooring stores, you guys finally came to an agreement, and you're going to take 219 stores, a warehouse, and the intellectual property, the names, and you're going to continue to run those stores, and you're going to change the name back to Lumber Liquidators. Do I have that right?
Yes. Yellow and black is back, and so are the great deals.
So, Tom, most people know who you are. 30 years ago, you were a contractor, and you got started in Massachusetts with just a few stores, maybe 2 or 3 stores. And for a while, you were buying seconds and, unfinished, and things grew and grew. And before you took it public, you'd grown Lumber Liquidators to a large floor covering only entity. Is that correct?
Correct. We really started in Stoughton, Mass, doing all types of lumber. Hardwood flooring went well and decided to specialize in that. We opened store 1 in West Roxbury, Mass. Got that going, and then opened store 2 in Hartford and store 3 outside of New York in Teterboro area, and then went from there.
All right. So when it peaked, or when you left after it went public, what were the financials at that time? What were your sales levels?
About $250 million a year. I think roughly 100 stores. It seems like 100 years ago, but yeah. So that was back in '07, I guess.
Correct.
Jason, I've known you for several years. I think when you were 28 years old, you took over Piedmont Flooring. It was going into bankruptcy, and then you ended up with BLC as a kind of a private label hardwood producer. And then the two of y'all got together, and you've been together with F9 and Cabinets to Go. And Jason, you were CEO of Southwind for a while as well, right?
I was.
So Jason I didn't really know him when he was supplier to Lumber Liquidators. After I started Cabinets to Go, some people there recommended Jason as far as running Cabinets to Go. So he's done a great job at Cabinets to Go, and he knows a lot more about flooring than cabinets. So I think it's a perfect fit for all together. It works well. The kitchens and the flooring work great together. That's how I got the idea initially. Was people were coming in with a kitchen cabinet to coordinate their flooring, and the two seem to go together. And as far as shipping and all that, we can be much more efficient with the combined companies.
So, Tom, one of the reasons I've been looking forward to this interview is not only did you build a successful business, but you actually helped the flooring industry. I mean, you were spending $100 million a year promoting the products that you were selling. You got Bob Vila and Bella Wood involved. You were helping everyone in the space because you were raising the awareness of floor covering.
Well, yeah. I mean, we didn't start off spending that. We initially were spending about $19 on a classified ad in the Boston newspaper, but it was always advertising that stood out, and yeah, just getting the awareness, and also the awareness of, especially in New England, that there's other flooring than 2.25 oak. We brought in a lot of different flooring, different species and so forth. So it worked well for everyone. All the retailers got benefited from that. We're not afraid to advertise.
Tell us about this tumultuous week last week where it was going out of business, and then you guys decided to come to an agreement. Tell me what you can about that.
Tom and I were laughing. We started this concept and started talking about it back in late 22 and have worked through, as everybody knows, public record, we've made numerous offers. And then, this last month basically has been a whirlwind back and forth. The reason, we got on the board, we resigned from the board to do just this, and we let everybody know that. We were focused on still trying to figure out to cut a deal to keep this company from going away. And then as it got down a week ago Friday, and they pivoted from a going concern to a full liquidation, we were still out there, still having conversations. We made another offer after that, worked through it, and then ended up having to go to the court hearing last week. And literally it bounced around from, I would say I was at 50-50 to 90% it was going to get done. And within an hour and a half of it actually getting done, I was probably more like 10% of it getting done. So it really was all over the board until 11:30 at night on a midnight deadline from the court. we finally struck a deal and then actually signed the agreement by noon the next day.
So here's the toughest question for you. Why do you think you'll be more successful with this new entity than the LL Flooring Board of Directors was just a few weeks ago?
Well, it's just getting back to basics. How this company grew was the people in the stores that were all motivated to make the company successful, know about the product when customers come in, getting them the right floor and all that. Basically, well, you mentioned the advertising, the yellow and black. So they changed the name, but it's okay. Maybe you needed another name, but changing the colors is just insane. We literally spent over that time over $1 billion advertising yellow and black and the logo. And if you were going to change the name, just keep it within that same color, same logo and all that. And they're saying, well, we don't sell lumber, we're not liquidators, but Tractor Supply doesn't sell tractors, and they're just an unusual name that worked. And I had tried it before. When I started, it was all lumber. And then when I went to hardwood flooring, I tried it in a market to see if we had more of a, flooring name, but it's just something about the Lumber Liquidators. It works. And especially after spending all that money on it. But the main thing is the people. A lot of the people that made the company great, what it is, are still there, and they're super excited about getting back to the basics. We don't need 600 consultants and huge overhead with, a huge expensive office. Our first headquarters was up above the store. We didn't even have running water. We used to use the Dunkin' Donuts next door, and then we splurged and got our own porta potty in the parking lot. So that's the culture of the company. It's not fancy offices. It's getting great flooring at great prices and great people that do that. So we'll just get back to that, and we can turn it around pretty quick.
All right. So this is going to be a privately owned company going forward, right?
You bet. We're not going public again.
Okay. All right. I guess that was the big mistake. A couple more things to ask. Cabinets to Go actually sold flooring. I know Cabinets to Go is still going to be there. So are you going to take flooring out of Cabinets to Go?
Yes. So all the flooring will be in Lumber Liquidators.
Okay. Just last year, they had added some carpet. You're going to stick with that program?
Yeah, we like the concept, Kip, of having carpet. We do see the program changing a little and definitely everything from display and that. But we do like having carpet and plan to continue that rollout to all 219 stores at some point.
Now, the plan, too, 219, that number, it's like in Tampa. You may have had 7 stores, and it doesn't make sense, so you're going to have 2. So you're just going to kind of cull the number of stores in each major market, right?
That's right.
It's not a Starbucks. It's people will drive for the deals. When we opened first in Dallas, I think it was store 18 or 19, people would drive from Oklahoma to Dallas to get flooring. People will drive for the deals, so we don't need a store in every corner.
The stores are very similar, Kemp, from Cabinets to Go and LL. But as we describe it, we're a project retailer. You're not buying light bulbs and flowers and things of that nature. So when you're ready for the project, you will drive, and so we like them a little more spread out.
Okay, and I understand that Southwind, which has been doing very well under your ownership, it just kind of makes sense now to find a new owner for that, because a little bit of conflict there as far as you're in the retail business. And so are Southwind's customers, right?
Correct.
Yeah, we're looking to spin that off. And I still think rather than be a conflict, it's better to separate it. But there is a market for, the Southwind dealers have, they're local. They can do more hands-on service. So there's a market for everyone. But it would be better to spin that off, I think.
All right, guys. I appreciate you being with us and talking to our listeners. Again, been talking to Tom Sullivan, the chairman, and Jason Delves, the CEO of F9 Investments, who now owns Lumber Liquidators. And you've been listening to Kemp Harr and FloorDaily.net.